and you have transitioned from a civil engineering background to IT. Like, how did it happen for you?
If it takes 24 hours or 36 hours,
Oh,
you have
okay.
to stay on the site.
So you did not face those issues because you have cracked that code in the beginning.
Then what I did was like on the third day, I just completely uninstalled my Windows and
Okay.
installed Ubuntu as my main operating system.
Yes, this is not something that everyone can do or everyone should do, but this is something
Should
that
do.
would make you stand out.
I would suggest like if anyone is looking for projects, try to build projects which has most of the tools covered in one project only.
You have to trust the process. You have to build a system around your journey, right? You have to follow step one by one.
Try to build your own roadmap. If you are following the single roadmap, it is not going to be successful. Like
True.
it is very rare. So you do have to build your own roadmap.
But it's good that we have those 80% quitters, because if they won't quit, they will also be in the same line as the rest of the 20%. Hello, Imran. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Piyush. I'm doing great. How about you?
Thank you for accepting my invite to join me in this podcast. A lot of people have asked me, is it difficult to get into DevOps as a fresher? Is it impossible to get a job as a fresher in DevOps? What are the preparation steps needed? What steps should we take? We're not getting interview calls. We're getting interview calls, but we're getting rejected, and so many questions. So I thought, who could be the best person to answer all these questions other than someone who got into the DevOps following certain steps as a fresher? So that's why I've reached out to you. I've reached out to other folks as well, those who are in my contact, my friends, and so on, like Harsh, Akshay, and there are a few others. So, in this podcast, we'll be capturing all the journey, all the steps that you have taken to achieve this goal, and how you transition from a non IT to IT, and not just in any role in IT as a DevOps engineer. So, Imran, why don't we start with a little bit of your quick introduction?
Hey everyone. First of all, thank you so much, Piyush, for having me in the podcast. It's a great honor to be here. So my name is Mohammad Imran, and I'm basically from a city called Panipat, and I'm basically from a civil engineering background. And I recently got my first job as a DevOps engineer in tech in March, and I'm working with a London-based company remotely. So yeah.
Okay, so you did not only get the job as a DevOps engineer, but you got the remote job for a London based company while staying in India. How did that happen, Imran? Like, people create a lot of fuss about that DevOps is not for fresher, and you have transitioned from a civil engineering background to IT with this role. Like, how did it happen for you? Like, can you walk us through your journey step by step? When did you start at it, and like what steps did you take?
So first of all, like I graduated in 2018, and then I did like civil engineering job on site for 1.5 2 years. Then we all know that COVID happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously everything was shut. And a friend of mine was working for a logistics company,
Okay.
Delivery.com. You
Okay.
must have heard about it. And then he called me like if you want to work for them. I got a backend job, like we were working on Salesforce and everything. It was completely non-tech. We
Mm-hmm.
were handling like operations, and it was like operations work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked for almost 4 years there before switching my job. But
Okay.
like two years into that job, I started thinking about like I should move to tech. And certainly there is a friend of mine who is also 1 year senior to me in my
Mm-hmm.
school and college. And then his name is Dinesh Solanki. I should mention him.
Okay.
He's like the reason I am here today.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like already working in the industry for like 4 5 years from the beginning in the DevOps.
Mm-hmm.
So he suggested me like you should try DevOps, and he just gave me a suggestion like start with the Linux,
Mm-hmm.
and as you go on in your journey, I'll give you suggestions. So I just like almost 3 years ago, like in August 2022, I searched for the first time like best Linux course, and then I
Mm-hmm.
started my journey with Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started learning about DevOps. So for the beginning, I started with the basics only.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very clear. So I framed a plan for myself, and I started with Linux. Then I did Git and GitHub, and then I focused on networking. But
Mm-hmm.
these were the like basics, and
Core
then after that
fundamentals,
I
yes.
searched, yes,
Mm-hmm.
core fundamentals, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that I focused on, I didn't search for any roadmap or like those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I What I did was I searched about what are the core components of DevOps. For example, monitoring is there,
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure is code, and then
Mm-hmm.
there is like cloud, and there is other things. So then I like sorted out tools based on those components, and then I did everything tool wise. For
Mm-hmm.
example, then I started Docker. I gave 2 weeks to learn it, then 2 weeks to build something with it
Mm-hmm.
and do my hands on, then Kubernetes, then so on, and I went
Okay.
on. And one thing I felt very lucky is like I the moment I started my journey, I stumbled upon people like you. Your channel was there, then there was Kunal
Okay.
Kushwaha. Like you also played a major role in my journey. So you, Kunal Kushwaha, Hitesh Chaudhary, and like Cloud Champ, Abhishek Virimala, there are various like multiple channels.
Mm-hmm.
So I followed them, and everyone like including you, in every video of yours, you all people suggest like learning in public. So I followed that.
Mm-hmm.
I posted every day on LinkedIn and Twitter. I
Mm-hmm.
tried to interact with people, and then in my journey, we like in your last podcast, there was Akshay. He was talking about the growing community. So
Mm-hmm.
me and Akshay started that community. I was also the co-founder of it, and
Mm-hmm.
then you also came into it, and other people also came into it. So
Mm-hmm.
that also helped in networking. So I would say like the main part was learning in public.
Mm-hmm.
I was sharing everything, whatever I was learning every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it really helped me. Then I gave a couple of interviews. Like we can talk about it
Yes, yes,
later in
definitely.
the
We'll go step
podcast
by
as
step.
well.
Definitely, yes.
Yes. So I like people say that we don't get calls. That
Mm-hmm.
never happened with me. Like
Okay.
90 to 95% of the time, I always get calls whenever I apply.
It's what we say, if we are not getting calls, then that's a marketing issue. So you are not doing enough to get yourself visible out there. Your resume doesn't have what it takes to get the interview call, or you are not active on social media, you are not learning in public, all those things, right? So you did not face those issues because you have cracked that code in the beginning. You started upskilling, and at the same time you started doing the self marketing, because marketing is really important, um, reaching out to people and showing them what you have. There is a better way of doing it. There is a better way of creating something for yourself, creating a portfolio for yourself, a public image, a personal brand out there in the public, and then let recruiter reach out to you. So that's the better way of doing it. And if, because you have nailed it already, so you did not face any issues. But before that, I wanted to cover the background story of it, right? So you said you were from a civil engineering background. What was your first job as a civil engineer? Like the field job that you were doing. What was it?
I was a site engineer. Like
Okay.
there is a plant, like if you know about IOCL refinery.
Okay.
So there was a plant building in Panipat refinery.
Okay.
So I was working with a private company, like they had the contract to work on that. So
Mm-hmm.
I was working on that as a site engineer, so
Okay.
junior site engineer. So
Okay.
I was handling that.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, like, was it like 9 hours a day job, or how many hours per day?
Like it was minimum 12 hours,
Minimum
and
12 hours. Okay.
sometimes like it depends on construction work as well. For example, if we ordered some amount of concrete and it needs to be casted,
Hmm.
so if it takes 24 hours or 36 hours,
Oh,
you have to
okay.
stay on the site, and
Okay.
then you'll get a half day rest and then come back on site. So
Okay.
that
So
was like
minimum
work life
12
balance
hours
was not
and
there.
minimum 12 hours, and there was no end to it. It could go up to one
Yes,
day,
yes,
2 day,
yes,
whatever it takes. Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Why I wanted to ask that, to show my viewers, because there are people who reached out to us that I have my college, I have my 9 to 5 job, and after that I'm exhausted. I don't have time to learn anything or upskill myself. And I want them to see this as an example. If you say you don't have time just after your 9 to 5 job, or just after your college, then you know just hear how these people like Imran have prepared it with the job that has no end time. you know. So it's hard because no one said it's gonna be easy, when you are transitioning from a non-tech background to tech background, or when you are transitioning for your first job, or when you are changing your skill. It's never easy. You have to work hard for it. You have to spend day and night. You have to grind all day all night long, so whatever it takes. And it's because if it was easy, everyone would have done it already, and no one would be unemployed in a perfect world. But we are not living in a perfect world, so we have to put a lot of efforts. We have to do a lot of things that not a lot of people are doing. Okay, we have to stand out from the crowd, and that's what you did, right? You took out time from that schedule which has no end time, and you put that to upskill yourself, because you envision that as an investment of the time, right? The first job, when you were working as a civil engineer, like as an on-site engineer, and then you moved into your first job, as the one that you mentioned, like back-end operations. So did it need any skill, and did that job help you to get the groundwork done for the next job, or like did it help you in any sort, or no?
No, it only needs like Excel and basic skills, and then
Okay.
I learned everything on the job itself. But it
Okay.
was completely non-tech. But
Okay.
what that gave me was like time, because
Mm-hmm.
when I was working as a civil engineer, I didn't have time to like upskill or think about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got the logistics job, the backend job,
Yeah.
so obviously that job also like was almost around 12 hours to 14 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working from home and I had like other time. I could give 2 to 4 hours every day to study
Okay.
and to learn. So that helped me in that way.
This is what I also suggest. So this happened with me as well. Like, I was in a job. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but when I was in Canada, I was in a job in which there was not a lot of work. So most of my work is done in mostly 2 3 hours per day, and rest of the time I have for myself. So what I used to do, and because it was work from home, COVID era, and so on, what I used to do, I used to go to my nearest library, take my laptop with me, and I go there, and I do my work, office work, and then I used to read books from there. Like I just go in the shelf, and I pick some random books, non-tech books. So books around productivity, books about self-help, motivation, all those kind of books. So I used to read that for some time, and then I used to practice my hands on for DevOps. Like I had some DevOps experience previously while I was working in India, but even then I wanted myself to be upskilled enough to be relevant to the current market, because it changes very frequently. If you had worked with a DevOps as a DevOps engineer previously, it doesn't mean you are relevant with the current market. You have to get yourself up to date, right? So that's how I utilize my time as well. So again, if you are someone who's listening to this podcast and you are stuck in a job where you have, people reach out to me and say, I am in a job and I feel like I'm not growing in my job. I don't have a lot of work to do, and also the skills that I'm working on is outdated. So the only message to them, and take this from our experience, both of us our experience, is use that time to upskill yourself. Use that time to build something that you have not done before. Use your time to be relevant to the market and learn whatever it takes. So you have time because you have a job, so you have a job security. You should be thankful for that, because not a lot of people get this privilege to have a job and then get time to upskill. You have a job, so you don't have to worry about who's going to pay your bill and who's going to take care of your family. So you have a job. The next goal is you need to work on upskill yourself so that you can get a job that you want. Okay, so use this time. Okay, so Imran, let's move forward with your journey. So you got your job, you got your backend job, and then let's talk about your preparation. So you said you started with Linux. Okay, how did you started learning Linux? Like what resources you have used? How did you practice? And what all the basics that you have covered in that journey?
So I searched for like basic to like sysadmin level course. There was a course I had I can provide the link to that as well.
Sure. Yeah.
It is available on YouTube. It is a very old course,
Mm-hmm.
and I started with it. I started with doing it in a virtual machine, and
Okay.
within 2 3 days, I was feeling like this is not working. I'm just
Okay.
opening a virtual machine and doing it once a day.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I did was like on the third day, I just completely uninstalled my Windows and
Okay.
installed Ubuntu as my main
Primary
main operating
operating
system.
system. That's the way to
Yes,
do.
that I will use it and
Mm-hmm.
I will start using it. That's the only way I
Mm-hmm.
could learn. And I would
Yeah.
suggest anyone who's watching and who wants to start learning Linux, do this only. Install it as your main operating system
Mm.
and start using it. There is nothing you can't do in that which you
Yes.
can do in Windows.
Yeah.
So just figure it out, start using it.
Mm.
And then I started doing it. And what I used to do was, because I have very less time after my job,
Mm-hmm.
so I used to study for like 1 or 2 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Then I used to make a post about it,
Mm-hmm.
like on LinkedIn and Twitter. And what I have seen is most people do is like just tag the creator. For example, someone is watching from your lecture, so
Mm-hmm.
just watch this and this video by Piyush, tech
Mm-hmm.
tutorial with Piyush, and just they just share it and share a screenshot.
Yeah.
So there's no benefit to them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you will get a shout out, you will get benefit, but there is not benefit to the student.
Mm. Yep.
So what they have to do is like always make notes
Mm-hmm.
whatever you are learning, and
Mm-hmm.
from those notes write points what you learned, and like structure your post in a way that
Yes.
other people who are reading it get some information about it, like,
Yes.
oh, this person learned this from this, so
Yes.
I can also watch this and learn this.
Yep.
So that is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used Linux machine as my main operating system. I
Mm-hmm.
posted every day, and it took around 1 month to get some hands on Linux. And then I
Mm-hmm.
practiced bash scripts and
Mm-hmm.
commands daily. But
Yes.
yeah, I used to search for questions on Stack Overflow, like what kind of questions like related to commands I can get. So I'll just see the question and try to create a command for that. For example, searching anything by grep, or
Mm-hmm.
search for a file name, or like any kind of questions you can
Sure.
find.
Yeah.
So I used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to like ask people like you and other people in the community as well. So all of those things. So that's that way I learned Linux.
Okay,
Yes.
so that was Linux. Okay, so you installed as your primary operating system, and then you did practice daily, and you did some Google around it, top interview questions or top commands to learn Linux and get your hands dirty with it, and you did practice. Okay, so that's a good way of learning Linux. Okay, what next? So then you jumped into Git and GitHub. So
Yes.
how did you do that?
So Git was quite easy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Git is like you can understand in 2 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Rest of the Git you will understand while doing projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a lecture. One was from you. One was from Kunal Kushwaha.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned about like main Git commands and how Git works,
Mm-hmm.
what is Git and what is version control and what is version control system and all of
Mm-hmm.
those things. I created my GitHub profile, and then I tried to create a blank project or like a
Mm-hmm.
directory and try to push it to GitHub. I tried multiple things, but
Mm-hmm.
because obviously I didn't know anything else, so I could
Mm-hmm.
not push much things to GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to like create my bash scripts, like basic bash scripts
Mm-hmm.
or basic commands list, and tried to push those files into that. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing I did was like I had my Linux handwritten notes. I pushed
Mm-hmm.
that into GitHub repository so that anyone else can use those notes and
Mm-hmm.
learn from it. So that
Okay.
way I learned GitHub. So it
Okay.
took only 2 to 3 days.
Okay. So I believe you have followed the similar steps for learning rest of the tools and technologies, right? So
Networking and then
okay.
tools
Okay.
and build
Okay.
projects and
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's cover networking as well. How did you learn networking and everything like fundamentals of computer fundamentals because you are from a civil engineering background. So how did you cover those things?
I learned everything from YouTube only mostly, and then
Okay.
I followed a few of the videos from Kunal Kushwaha, you and Abhishek Viramalla for networking. I
Mm-hmm.
made my notes and I tried to understand everything like in a very visual manner, not
Mm-hmm.
like just reading or cramming everything. I try
Mm-hmm.
to visualize it, how the handshake is happening or how
Mm-hmm.
one thing is talking to other thing and everything, and I try to understand it on a very very granular level. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how networking happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I started with the tools. Then I started with Docker. So installing Linux gives that edge to me.
Yes.
Like when I came to tools, so I learned how to install every tool on Linux only. Like for example, in Windows or Mac, you'll directly get the exe or DMG file and you
Mm-hmm.
install it directly. But with Linux, you'll have to use the commands and their like
Mm-hmm.
installation
Yes.
process. So
Yes.
that also helps in learning like the beginning of every tool.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started learning everything. Like then I went to Docker, for example. I followed the tutorials and then I tried to create Docker files. For example,
Mm-hmm.
I searched for questions for some Docker files. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I downloaded an Ubuntu image. I built something on it,
Mm-hmm.
like some scripts or like something to install,
Mm-hmm.
and then I containerize it, and then I pushed it to my Docker hub so that
Mm-hmm.
I learn how to like write a Docker
Sure.
file
Yeah.
and what are the steps to think about
Mm-hmm.
writing a Docker file. So yeah, that
That's
was
amazing.
my learning process.
Okay, so you did the hands-on, you tried it out yourself, and you made sure that whatever you are learning, you are putting that into practice. Otherwise, it will be just like writing notes without even knowing what it is, right?
Yes,
So,
otherwise we'll be stuck in tutorial hell.
yes,
We'll keep watching
absolutely.
tutorials and not
Yes,
understand anything.
absolutely.
Yes.
That's what happens with most of the people because we don't practice enough. We don't create proof of concepts, and then we worry about being stuck in a tutorial hell. So that's the only way to get out of it. That's the only way to retain the knowledge that you have acquired by doing the hands-on. So let's talk about your learning in public strategy. Like, what did you do? Yes, you have mentioned already, like, you were sharing your journey in public and sharing concise and something that is valuable to others who are reading it. But other than that, what did you do? Like, other than posting on social media, what else did you do?
So first of all, I posted everything. Then, like if you write a good post about like if it is an informative post about a lecture or anything, so the
Mm-hmm.
creator of the post will also help you like reshare it if you like someone's post, and that also helps in reaching out to new people, building a
Mm-hmm.
network. New people will reach out to experienced one as
Mm-hmm.
well as the new one. Like if we are at day one, you can always teach something to someone at day zero. So
Mm-hmm.
that way I build my network. I met a lot of people, Akshay, Harsh, and you, and Ravi, and all such an amazing people. Savinder Puri sir is there. I
Mm-hmm.
met through this. Then Guru Ragamurthy.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I did was I was like from the beginning only, I searched about how to build a good resume,
Mm-hmm.
and then like whatever projects I was making, I was documenting them on my GitHub profile. Documenting as in not just pushing the code and writing it, this project consists this, but
Yeah.
writing the complete documentation. What is the prerequisite,
Mm-hmm.
what are the steps I followed, and if someone wants to run it, how can they run it? If
Mm-hmm.
there are any screenshots I want to share, I had that. So like that also played a very major role if some recruiter or any developer or any person from tech sees your profile, the way
Mm-hmm.
you document your
Mm-hmm.
projects and document your journey. I connected with a lot of people. For example, every month or two, I used to connect with people. For example, you, Savinder Puri sir, Guru Murthy sir, and like senior people from the industry to like get a review of my journey. I used to talk to them. Used to share my journey to them. Like this is what I've done so far, and
Mm-hmm.
anything if you can suggest. If I have built my resume, for example, after 6 months, I've built my resume like starting building my resume, I used to get Savinder Puri sir and Ragumurthy sir to review them every
Mm-hmm.
like 2 3 weeks or every month. So this is my resume. What can I do to improve it?
Mm-hmm.
Like getting feedback on yourself or your projects on your profile is also very important. So I think that what helped me, and then sharing that writing blogs also helped me. But this is not everyone has to do. But if you love making content or writing content, it will
But
always be a
again, I
plus
would
point.
say, yes, this is not something that everyone can do or everyone should do, but this is something
Should
that
do.
would make you stand out. It will
Yes.
definitely help you
Everything
elevate among all the prospect people out there who are looking for a job, who are there in the same boat as you. Because see, there would be multiple people who had some experience who has some background into IT, but even though you got this job over others because you did a lot of things that not many people were doing, right? So documentation is a underrated skill that people don't pay attention to it. If we ask someone to write a GitHub README file to document their project, they simply go to an LLM and copy and paste the responses from there. No, that's not how it should be done. Okay. So first try to understand the format of MD file. How does it work? How does a markdown first? How does the file renders properly? And what are the different options that you can use? Because a lot of time you will be spending in documenting your stuff internally or externally when you are working somewhere, right? So that's quite important, and you understood it well, and then you have followed the feedback loop, which is a perfect example of how it should be done. You were not just learning in public, you were seeking feedback from public. Okay, so this is what I have done and this is where I am right now. Am I going in the right way, or is this something missing, or is there is something that I can do to improve my learning? You did not rush into things, right? That's really important. People just say, okay, I have completed this course, what are my chances of getting a job? I have completed this certification, what are my chances of getting a job in next 1 or 2 months? No, that's not how it works. You have to give it enough time. You have to trust the process. You have to build a system around your journey, right? You have to follow step one by one, and then you think about getting a job, and then you go out there and start applying and start reaching out to people and do networking and all those things. But before that, you have to trust the process, and that's what you did. You actually spent a lot of time in not just upskilling but seeking validations from other who are there in the industry. You post it out there so that others can find it helpful, or if anyone wants to share their feedback. Okay, because when we share our journey, let's say you have said, okay, I have learned Linux, I have installed Ubuntu, and I have tried practicing. And if there is someone who are in the same boat as you, or someone who wants to provide you feedback, they can just comment on this post. Okay, Imran, you have done this. I think if you do this extra step, this will help you. That one small message could make a lot of difference, and it wouldn't have happened had you not posted out there in public. If you were doing anything in the background, if you were learning everything in a stealth mode, no one would know about it. No one would come forward and share their feedback with you without you asking, right? So it's really important, all the steps that you have taken. It's really important. I remember the time when we met and you shared the journey with me, and it was so inspiring to see, because at that time you were into your, I believe, a few months already into this learning journey, and you were not rushing into things. Because when we meet someone, we talk about it, and they instantly say, okay, I have been doing this for past couple of months and I'm not getting interview calls. But you did not rush into the things. What you were doing, you were seeking feedback. Am I doing everything right? Am I in the right path? Is there anything else I can do to improve myself? And that makes all the difference. And that is what we set apart from the crowd. So that's the mindset that we have to work on, and you nailed it perfectly. So you did all those preparation, you did hands-on, you build projects, you did learning in public. Now, what are the projects that you built, the top projects that you think has helped you get the job? What were those projects?
I would say just like I have my projects on my GitHub, but
Mhm,
the main project which got me the interview call
mhm, mhm,
was the DevSecOps project. I took a Netflix clone and
mhm.
like used all of the tools I have learned in that,
Okay.
prepared a CI/CD pipeline.
Mhm,
I introduced like dependency check in it, and
mhm,
then there was like Trivi image scanning, and then like sonar gates, sonar cube I used in that.
mhm,
And then there were like I used to like all of the tools I learned in that project to like build up CI/CD pipeline and
mhm.
completely deploy it on Kubernetes
Okay.
and using Docker. And one thing is I deployed it twice in my project. One is
Okay.
using Docker and
Okay.
Kubernetes, and then the other one was using Argo CD and EKS
Okay.
cluster.
Mhm.
So I it's like it acts like a two in one project. So that
Okay.
was the main project which worked for me, I think.
That's
Like
so
I would
amazing.
suggest, like if anyone is looking for projects, try to build projects which has most of the tools covered in one project only,
Mm,
so that you can showcase your skills and in all of your projects with multiple tools. Do
mhm.
not make like simple projects like deploying a to-do list app using an AWS EC2 cluster,
Yes.
and then just one or two Jenkins and one or two tools. It will
Mm.
just waste your space in your resume, and it
Yes,
won't be helpful. Try to build
definitely.
projects which has all of the tools, like production grade, like pipeline, something
Mhm,
something to imitate that
mhm,
scenario. For
mhm.
example, you can have multiple staging environment and then production environment and testing environment. Those are the things. So those kind of projects I would suggest.
That's again a good
Yeah.
advice, and this is what I also suggest to many people. You know, when people watch the tutorials, let's say I have implemented a project in a couple of hours. Let's say if I have a video which is 2 hour or 3 hour long, I could do limited number of things, right? But then also, if that video has a good reach, then thousand other people are doing the same thing. So how would it make you stand out, right? You have to do something on top of it. So what I also suggest is take the reference from a blog or a video tutorial or anywhere from a documentation, and then see what else you can do on top of it. Like you said, you can just take a sample GitHub project, take it an open source project or anything, right? There are a lot of open source tools available, which is there for you to use. So take any open source project. If you are a developer, build your own project. If not, take any open source project, and then see what all the stages of a DevOps pipeline would be, what all the tools that are required for you to get the job in this job market. Learn everything, and then see how does it fit in your project. You start with dockerizing your project, you start with deploying that on Kubernetes, you start with deploying that in multiple environments, you do infrastructure as a code using Terraform, and provision the infrastructure, manage infrastructure using that. Then you take that and create a CI/CD pipeline around it. If it's deployed in Kubernetes, see how you can implement GitOps on that. Try to see how can you make it secure using keywords or any third party authorization, auth, and so on. Implement monitoring, alerting, logging on that. Make dashboards for insights and analytics. Add all the quality gates, approvals, everything that you can think of as a DevOps engineer would do. Create one complex project and include everything in that. You don't need hundreds of projects in your resume. No one will even open it and have a look at it, right? But if you create one single complex project which cover everything, that's more than enough. That would do the job for you.
I I
My
would
next
also like to
question.
add one more thing,
Yeah,
like
sure.
before the next question.
Yeah.
Like again, the documentation is very important. That's where you can stand out. Like
Mhm,
for example, what I did was like that project was also available on YouTube. I added some things in it, but
mhm,
what I did differently was I created a flow chart of it using Excalibur.
mhm,
I like showed everything in my, like the moment you open my repository for that project, if anyone is going to my GitHub, you'll
mhm,
see a proper flow chart and then screenshot from the Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, how
mhm,
it goes, and everything is listed there. Then I
mhm,
documented it very well. Like any non-tech person can also deploy it. I
mhm,
documented it in that way, so that
mhm.
also helps.
Yeah, I'll share that link
Yes.
in the description. Yes, documentation is important, and then creating the architectural diagram is as important as document, because maybe someone would look at your documentation and maybe they won't read it everything line by line, but if we have a visual representation of the entire project, that would just do the job. And this is an essential skill. When you work in a company, you have to present your ideas, your proof of concepts, your something that you are working on, to the team or to the client or to the external teams. Then you start with the documentation and the architectural diagram. Now there are various tools out there to create the architectural diagram. I have published a separate video for that. I'll share that link as well in the description, so do check that out if you haven't. And I have explained like all the tools available and which tool is suitable for which use case, so you can try it out yourself. Now, Imran, so you created the project. Okay, so what you did so far, you learned everything, you did the hands on, you did the practice, you documented your journey, you documented your projects, and then you seek feedback from everyone and you try to improve yourself 1% at a time. What next? How did that project got the visibility and how did you got your job?
So first of all, like I would say, one more important thing is staying consistent.
Mhm,
Like you don't have to like study 4 hours a day, but if you are doing it like even 1 hour a day, just stay consistent, never miss a single day.
mhm,
And same with learning in public. And then getting job was like after 9 months into my journey. Like this is also a very like great story.
mhm,
Like I was like thinking about, let's check my resume if I get calls or not. I
mhm,
randomly applied to like 3 4 companies.
mhm,
One was from London. It was, I think, some game production, and it was a very good company.
mhm.
So I applied there. I got a call from there, but I was not ready for interview and anything, so I could
Okay.
not clear even the first round. But
Mhm,
that was like around $45,000 package and as a fresher.
mhm.
So that was one interview call. Then at the same time I also applied for Amazon India. There
Okay.
was a hiring for fresher. I just randomly checked their career page
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I got the call from there as well. Similarly, I also could not clear the first round because I was not preparing for interview, or
Yeah.
I was not ready. I was just checking out my interview,
Uh-huh.
like if I got the call or not. So
Uh-huh.
that happened. So then I kept applying for like, first of all, I did not apply for multiple, like hundreds of jobs at the same time. I
Mhm,
always stay focused on what I think can be a good company for me.
mhm,
Then like I was very specific about applying. Like
mhm.
in the last 2 years, I think I may have applied for only 30 to 40 companies, not more than that.
Okay.
I did not apply much.
Mhm,
And then how did I get these jobs? So I was always like posting about my learnings, my projects, and then my blogs. And then in between, I became an AWS community builder as well. So all of those things happened.
mhm.
So one day I noticed like on my post, LinkedIn post likes, there was a like from my current company.
Okay.
So I just noticed like, oh, this is not a person. This
Mhm,
is a company's official page that is liking my post.
mhm.
Then I checked their LinkedIn page and then I went to their official website. Then I saw their career page. There was an opening for internship and
Okay.
like entry level role.
Wow.
Then there was KubeCon India happening.
Okay.
So I at that time I just sent them a cold email,
Mhm,
my resume, my great cover letter, and then everything. I got they replied that okay, we can do it. Then before KubeCon, I got my first round of interview.
mhm,
Like it was like a normal conversation
mhm.
about my journey and
Yep.
what have I done so far now. Then after that, I got the second technical round, and then the third round happened. Like it took 3 months, and in March, I got my like job. So first of all, I got a 1 month contract. Like they wanted to check if I am they were satisfied technically, but they wanted to check my communication skills, how I work in the team, and
Mhm,
then that
mhm.
happened, and now I'm currently working with that company. So like it was all happened because I was posting and they liked my posts. I saw their like on my post,
And
and then I just reached out to them.
yes, and you took the extra step of doing the cold emailing because a lot of
Yes,
people
yes.
don't do, people just apply on the career pages and they don't do the next step, which is cold emailing. It helps a lot, you know. So that's great that you shared this. This is so amazing. This is so inspiring that you did not just relied on the luck. You did the hard work, you stayed consistent, you do everything that needs to be done to stay apart from the crowd, to stand out in the crowd, and then you followed everything as per the books, so you did everything, and I'm glad it turned out well for you. So story like this is a great example of what we can achieve. Doesn't matter our technical background or our educational background, doesn't matter, it's all about your skills and how well you present your skills out there. So Imran, Also, I've noticed, and you have also mentioned you go to a lot of events like KubeCon, Cube Days, Community Days. And so what you do over there, and how would you provide the benefits of it for someone who's a beginner or someone who is just exploring that path, that how can these events help me grow in my career? So what is your strategy behind that?
So what I do is like I
Mhm.
try to interact with as much people as I can.
Okay.
So
Okay, let's
first of
let's
all,
let me
you
pause you
can.
over there. Let me pause you over there. Let's suppose I'm an introvert. Okay, I am not comfortable with talking strangers at very beginning. How do I go there and I start the conversation?
I would suggest first, if it's a big event like KubeCon, there will always be someone who will from online, from LinkedIn,
Okay,
from Twitter,
because
from
you are
any tech
already learning
community.
in public. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yes. So
that's
you
the
will
first
always
step.
know
That's the first step.
someone. Try to
Yeah.
find that some person, or if you post on LinkedIn randomly before 2 weeks that
Mm,
I'm going to this event,
mm,
there will be someone who will reach out to you. Let's meet there and
mm,
just talk to them. And
mhm,
after that, when you get comfortable, you don't have to even make a conversation. Just
mm,
go to someone, introduce yourself, ask about them,
mhm,
and then if the conversation goes good or not, it depends. And then after that, you can just ask for their LinkedIn if you think they are someone who's experienced and you can take guidance, or you want to connect with them after the event as well. You
mhm,
can connect with them on LinkedIn, and then you can take a picture as well. What I do is I take a picture with the people I meet most.
mm.
Like this time I did not do it, but on every event I do it because it creates a recall value. So
Yes.
after the event, when you post the picture and write the post like I met
Mhm,
this person there and I talked about this, so it creates a recall value and it
mhm,
helps them like creating a good connection between you
mhm,
and the person you met.
mhm.
So I follow this a lot.
Okay, so making connections, that's good, but did it help you get something valuable out from that conversation, or did it help you get some job related leads, or like how did it help you?
So building connections help you in multiple ways. First of all, you can get guidance, and then second thing is referral. Although I've never asked for referrals,
Mhm,
like maybe I've posted once, like last year, about I'm looking for job and this, and then because of my network and connections, I got a lot of referrals from
mhm,
there. But I never asked personally for referrals. What
mhm,
I believe is like always build a connection based on tech and just normal getting
mhm,
knowledge and sharing knowledge, and
mhm.
try to make friends. For example, you
Yes.
and I, one in our circle of community,
Mhm.
so we are like friends only. We never talk about referrals and all of those things,
Yes.
but try to build a genuine connection, genuine
Mhm,
relationship.
mhm,
That way you won't have to like ask for referral. And if you get referral for someone, like for example, if you have to refer me
mhm.
somewhere, so you'll have that confidence in me that I know this
Yes.
person,
Yes.
and you can do that extra bidding for me,
Mm.
that I can vouch for that person. So that
Yes.
really matters. And
Mhm,
this happened with me as well.
mhm,
As you know, Savinder Puri sir, so I got in touch with him from one of his live stream like 2 years back. I
mhm,
just reached out to him like
mhm,
I saw your live stream and
mhm,
I would love to talk tech with you. And
mhm,
then within 2 3 messages, I asked him for a call, and we had a call. And then after every 2 months, I try to have a conversation with him.
mhm,
So I built that relationship. Like last year, he without even asking me. So he had some friend in, I think it was HCL or some company, some good MNC company, and there was a requirement.
mhm,
Without even asking me, he suggested, like he asked for my resume and he suggested me to them. But they were like looking for some experienced candidate, that
mhm.
so I cannot join them. But like without even asking me, he suggested me. So this kind of relationship is important. So
Yes.
this can be your benefit. You can
Mhm,
build a good relationship and you can build good connections. It will always help you in long term. What I would suggest is do not go like build connections with a with greed of referral. You will never be able to like build good connections that way.
that's a
Yes.
great mindset. That's a great way of thinking how an online relationship should work. It's not about what can you get from the person, it's about what you can bring to the table. When you are there, so think about it, it's a two-way street, right? It's not like you met someone and you had initial conversation and then you go and ask for the referral. That's not how referral should work. Referral is something that we are providing to someone, to whom we can refer to our company because we vouch for their skills, their professional etiquettes, their technical skills, and all the qualities that we look for a coworker, right? So I have a lot of videos created around referral, and I'm gonna create a separate dedicated videos around how referral should work. But this is the way it should be, and this is what people lack these days. They just go out there and ask random referral from random people, and many people are also doing the same thing. Many people who refers other, they just put out a Google Doc out there and ask people to register using that link, and I will provide you the bulk referral and whatever, and people are selling it, the referrals and whatnot. That's not the way, that's not how the referral should work. Otherwise referral would have no value at all, and no one would consider the referrals as a prospect candidate for the company. And the things that you have mentioned, all of these things is how referral should work. So everything, every step that you have taken, you gave the time to it, you stayed consistent, and you let the system work for you, you trusted the process, right? That's a great story of temperament, that's a great story of dedication, hard work, and how it should be done the right way instead of the shortcuts. Be a DevOps engineer in 21 days or be a cloud engineer in 2 weeks. So that's not how it should work. This is how it should work. Some people might get it early, some people could take a longer time than 8 or 9 months. They could take 1 year,
Like,
2 years.
it took 2.5 years for me. So it
Yes,
depends.
yes.
You can get your first tech job or first DevOps job
Hmm.
in 6 months. Maybe it take 1 hour,
Yes,
1 year, or 2 year or 3 years. You have to stay consistent and you have to keep
yeah.
upskilling yourself and take feedback and keep improving. You just have to wait for the opportunity. The opportunity will knock on your doors. You
Yeah.
just have to be ready to grab it. I would
Yes,
say that.
definitely. And like, yes, everyone has their own journey, right? Everyone has their own skill set. Some are really sharp, some takes time to grasp the concepts. Everyone is different. So their journey should be also different. Their timeline should also be different. So that's what it happens. Also, the other thing that I would like to mention here is it's not about what you do, it's also about how you present yourself out there. You have to be outspoken about skills. So there is a difference between bragging your skills and about showcasing your skills. So you have to find a fine line between those two things, right? Don't overdo it, but at the same time don't undersell yourself as well. So you have to uh, you have to showcase what you got. Otherwise the interviewer or the hiring manager wouldn't know like what all the skills you have. So they have certain set of questions that they're gonna ask, right? And if you have not worked in many of those areas, or if you don't have experience in many of those tools or skills, they wouldn't know what else you got, right? So you have to be outspoken, you have to make sure that you include your strongest skill set in your introduction itself. Like when interviewer talk about, explain, like tell me about yourself, then that few lines decide your next interviews, and it decides your entire interview journey. Because in that you showcase your strongest point in the best possible way, and interviewer will get the idea, okay, so that person has worked so much on these areas, so let me ask some questions on that area. So that's also how you drive your own interview rather than giving them a chance to ask whatever they want. So Imran, one more thing I wanted to ask. Okay, so you build the projects, you learn in public, you did network. Did you do any certifications?
I
No,
did not
right?
do any certifications. Yes, like I did one with Solo because I was aiming for that company related to
Mhm.
service mesh.
Okay.
But as such, like AWS certification or a good level of certification, I have not done any certification till now.
Okay, amazing. So that also why I wanted to cover that also shows certifications are not mandatory. They are good to have, but they are not mandatory. It does not define whether you get the job or not. Sometimes all the things that you have mentioned, it's more than enough to get the job and to to get the work done. That's great to hear. Anything else you would like to add or anything else you would like to share?
One thing is like I see a lot also, like when people reach out to me, is they don't work on their resumes.
Mm-hmm.
Like building projects, documenting them on GitHub and everything is one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but presenting them in your resume so that the recruiter directly see what things you have used in your project, and like their eyes should directly fall on that. So
Mm-hmm.
that is also a skill. Like they should also focus on that and present every link as well. For example, if you have your projects in your resume, what a lot of people don't do is they don't present give their links or hyperlink in
Yes.
the resume itself,
Mm-hmm.
and any recruiter will not go and search for your profile. That's a very small time frame. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think, is very important. And then highlighting every tool and technology you've used in your project, like writing that in bold letters or highlighting in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And then one advice I would give regarding resumes, based on my experience, like if you have experience, if you're a fresher or have experience less than 3 years, always go for 2 column resume. And if you have more than that, then go for a single column resume.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the only thing I would say. And just stay consistent, keep sharing whatever you're learning, and try to get feedback from the people who are experienced. Try to find your mentors. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to like ask for advice randomly, but try to build connection with 2 3 people who you can consider your mentors, and they can help you every 1 month or 2 months or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And try to have a plan. For example, I already have a plan ahead for my next 2 years. So try to build a 3 month plan, 6 month plan, and 1 year plan, and try to follow that step. Always, obviously, you're not going to be able to like follow all the steps, but
Mm-hmm.
even with failures, you'll learn something new. So
Mm-hmm.
try to follow that plan. I would just say that.
Okay, awesome. So, Imran, there is one more thing that I wanted to ask about interviews. So, you have gathered all the skills that is required. How did you prepare for the interviews? Like, because it was your, I believe, one of the first interviews out there in IT industry, and you had no idea how did it work at that time. So, how did you prepare yourself for the interviews? Be it
So,
technical, non-technical, managerial, whatever.
so first of all, what I did was like I prepared for everything what I've written in my resume.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should know everything about your resume. So if you have a project, you should know everything about your project, this its architecture, how everything works,
Mm-hmm.
and how you can improve it. You should
Mm-hmm.
have an answer for if you are going to build this project again, what will you do better this time,
Yeah.
how you can do improvements. If you have written about any technology or tools, you should know at least basic to medium level knowledge about that tool.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I use, and then I searched for interview questions. You also have some interview related videos.
Yeah.
CloudChamp also has, like there are a lot of content available already. I use that. Then I studied tool wise, like questions what can be asked about,
Mm-hmm.
for example, Kubernetes architecture, the basic questions, the
Mm-hmm.
fundamental questions of networking and every tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I followed that. Like I studied tool wise, and then in the end I made sure that it's something is asked from my resume. I was able to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like just give 1 to 2 months for your interview preparation, and then start applying for it, because
Mm-hmm.
it is not going to happen that you will clear your first ever interview. So you are going to fail. You are going to learn what kind of questions
Mm-hmm.
you can ask. Then try to prepare some questions you can always ask the interviewer as well at the end of the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Those questions really leave a mark on interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
Like always try to, and what in interview as well, always make notes. Like have a notebook and pen so that your interviewer can see that you are making notes. That also gives a good impression. And just don't show it, make notes, actually make notes of your interview, so that it can help in your next interviews as well, and it gives a good impression to your interviewer as well. So these are some things I followed, and yeah, these are the only things I would suggest.
I must say, Imran, you have shared a lot of insights. You have shared everything about journey, and that was the whole purpose behind this podcast. I just don't want to share what a DevOps engineer do because we have covered that already in many videos. I just wanted to share how are DevOps engineers being made. It's not just only experienced people can get it. Anyone could get it if they are in the right path, if they follow the right things at the right time and they stay consistent and they do networking. So you took advantage of everything that is out there. Some people say that learning in public help you get a job, some people say that referrals help you get a job, some people say that networking with the professionals help you get a job. You followed everything and lot of the things worked out for you very well. Some things worked, some things did not, but even then they were there for you. So referrals were there for you, people were recommending you for different positions without you even asking for it, because you had made that meaningful connections with the people out there. you know you presented your journey in such a way out there that anyone would get inspired from it. But then there'll be people who are not ready to do that kind of hard work, that kind of, because it needs a lot of consistency to, when we know that we probably wouldn't be able to make it in an year or so. It could take more than an year as well. Most of the people, I would say 80% of the people would just quit, and they would say it's not for freshers. But it's good that we have those 80% quitters, because if they won't quit, they will also be in the same line as the rest of the 20%. So we need 80% of those as well, so that 20% of those who believe in themselves, who are consistent, who are hardworking, and who believe in doing everything, they would be succeeded. That's the only difference between winners and losers. Winners trust themselves. They know what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and they follow the path. They follow the system that they have created for themselves. There is no standard roadmap to get a success, right? Everyone build their own roadmap, and it depends on, because everyone knows their skill better than anyone else. So you said you created your own roadmap, you started learning, everything is there out, right? Everything is available free of cost, or there are some affordable options, whatever it is. But everything is out there, you just have to start doing it, rather than worrying about, rather than watching 100 of roadmap related videos. You have to start working on it, you have to get your hands dirty with it, and you have to trust the process, and it will eventually, it will happen. Okay, so we are at 1 hour mark. I think it will be a good time to end the podcast, because we have covered
Yes, I will
everything.
also add something to it, like
Yes, please go
uh,
ahead.
regarding the roadmap. So, for example, you said right, there is no perfect roadmap for DevOps as well. Like a lot of people ask, can you give a course or roadmap or a specific YouTuber's course which I can do and get a DevOps job? It is not going to happen. You have to like learn the skill of finding the right content or right thing for
Sure.
you. For example, what I used to do is like, for example, if I started with DevOps Bootcamp by Kunal Kushwaha, or for example, I started the Linux course. It was some other YouTuber. There was something related to like I think Tmux multiplexer or SSH or something related to arguments. I think in Bash script. I was not able to understand from his course, so I searched for someone else. I searched for you. I found out you. I found out Kunal Kushwaha. I found out separate other people as well. So you have to keep searching for the correct content for
Yes.
you. For example, if you are stuck at something from one place, try to find that in some other place. Try to build your own roadmap. If you are following the single roadmap, it is not going to be successful. Like
True.
it is very rare. So you do have to build your own roadmap. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can take the reference from any roadmap or anything that is out there,
Yes.
but everyone's journey is different. So everyone's roadmap has to be different. So you customize it as per your need. Take the knowledge from wherever you can. Yes, you.
Yes. Everyone's like the way of learning is different. For example, I love to learn from those people who focuses more on learn by doing, like hands-on practice, such
Mhm.
as you. You do not focus more on like PPTs and all that stuff. You mostly show a very basic thing and then directly jump into
Mhm.
hands-on. I
Yeah.
love that way of learning, so that works for me. Try to find the content which works for you,
Mhm.
or which who does the content in your way of learning.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is also very important.
Yep.
Otherwise people will be stuck in the tutorial hell only. They'll keep
Yes,
searching for new YouTubers, new people to learn from, and they keep watching tutorials as well.
that's true. That's true. Okay. That's a lot of information, and that's a lot of valuable insights. I am not even sure that I have covered these level of details around the job preparation or how to get your first job into IT. And I'm sure this will be a power packed session. I'm sure it will be really helpful for everyone who's watching this, and people will also get inspired. So if you are someone who are here with us till this point of the video, drop the comment and let us know the things that you will be following from the journey of Imran. Like, what will be the thing that you haven't done so far and you will be doing it from today. So share your journey below, and I wish you all the best, whoever who is watching, and I wish you all the best, Imran, for your next career moves as well. um, you have not just stopped there getting into IT as a DevOps engineer. You have made your future plans as well, whether growing in your current role or whether getting the promotion in the same company or looking out there, whatever it is. But you have made it clear to yourself that you are not going to stop. So that's the mindset that everyone needs. So thank you once again, and we'll keep in touch. And I wish you all the
Thank you so much
best.
for having me, Piyush.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye everyone.